Good evening. It's been so good to be on it. It wiped all of my tears away. My midnight skin today, and I'll just say, thank you, Lord. Thank you, Lord. I won't complain. So I lift up my hands and I'll tell you, thank you, Lord. I've been down off the ground. Thank you, Lord. Thank you, Lord. Thank you, Lord. I won't complain. Thank you, Lord.
Okay.
I am regularly lifted up by the folks at Healing Transitions. April 14th, 2020, William's trying to leave work. We are 3 weeks into being shut down with the COVID pandemic. Walt's working security. Walt waves them down. They sing back and forth. Incredibly stressful times. Talked about this at the last transition ceremony because we're recognizing men and women who hung in there with us during unprecedented and challenging times, and sprinkled throughout the stress of what was going on were all these beautiful moments that exist within everyone that's in this room. And it is our joy, it's our privilege to be able to see these expressions as they come out in various ways. This is just one example, but it's what makes this such a special, amazing place. I want to welcome everyone to our transition ceremony. I want to be brief. I want to thank our staff and participants for their service and getting things ready for today, as well as all they do day in and day out. I'd really like to thank our board of directors, our board of trustees, and during these times, our capital campaign steering committee, honorary committee, and community gifts committee. There are many unseen advocates and volunteers who do the work to make it possible for us to do the work. And we're incredibly thankful for the generosity of their time, their treasure and their talent, and I just want to thank them and so forth. Also very appreciative of those who walked this path before us and those who helped lay the brick to make this reality happen. We are here tonight to celebrate recovery and to hear stories of triumph and stories of overcoming adversity and stories of service and stories of a really, what you find here is such an interesting mix and group of people who may not have otherwise met, but come together and form beautiful relationships and help others. So I believe, but I am not certain because I was not prepared, that William, you are up next. Is that a good assumption? That's a good assumption, sir. William, thank you for lifting up my spirit many times over the last coming up on 19 years.
Good evening. My name is William Dickens. I'm trying to do a little bit different this time. Normally I just get up here and can shoot it out there, but after Krista played the song and all of that, I knew something was right because I wrote down what I had to say. That's a little bit different, sir. My name is William Dickens. I am the planning room coordinator for the men's and women's facility of Healing Transitions, a person in long-term recovery. My new life started 9/15/2002, and by the grace of God, I have had this new life for over 18 years. And it all started here. My new life silver chip number, alumni 133. I am also glad and honored to invite you to our 137th silver chip ceremony to give these new alumni their silver chip medallions. What they will be receiving is a silver chip medallion. On one side is the Healing Transitions logo, and on the other, it reads, I am responsible one day at a time. First new alumni we're going to be recognizing is Mr. Lanny Down. So one thing I will say about Lanny was that we got some cats around here, and we love our cats. And Lanny is the closest that I think ever came to staying here longer than our cats. He was here a very, very long time. But out of all of that, Lanny never had a return to use. Even though he got moved back in the program multiple times, addressed on attitudes and behaviors, he never left. He never had a return to use. And that says a lot, because a lot of guys, when they get addressed on their issues and concerns, they leave for the help that they receive. They leave, but Lanny stuck it out. So Lanny was on the wait list 4 times, met 1 4 times, met 2 2 times, CTR 1 3 times, and CTR 2 2 times before silver chipping out in alumni status. Some of his concerns was late to B&G, sign out 2 times, candy in his room, signing in, poor job performance multiple times, broken commitment 2 times, spoiled food in his room, too many bags, phone rang in class, late for petition, unattended property, and I just got tired of writing. Some of the help he received, the help that he received was a verbal roster check, meet and greet 2001 3 times, property restrictions a weekend, raper, 500 words on R&J that's rationalizing and justifying not seeing your part, 500 words on inconsideration, copy the CTR 1 guidelines, step up for Mr. Ernest Suggs, entitlement, highlight signing in and out until he petitioned, step up 1 time for place of miracles, and 1,000 words on focus on his duties. Like I said, the main thing, even though it was back and forth, this man and some of the other guys, they really persevered, even through his condition. So please help me welcome Silver Chip alumni number 905, Mr. Lanny Down.
I don't want to lose it up here. First, I want to thank this facility. So valuable, my time here at Healing Transitions. Just as was said earlier, the motivation to help me to improve myself and for me to not give up, to never give in or give up, because I had to be strong. You know, like my higher power says, you have to take it one day at a time. That's very important. And also, I want to thank my family who have been so supportive. They've been a huge encouragement to me, and I wanted to say, there were times that I was weak, and I didn't want to be weak. They helped me be strong. And also, I want to say thank you to the kitchen woman. I really appreciate her help, big help. You were very, every time I got punished, she would be a big encouragement. She'd say, keep your head up, keep your head up. And I would say, okay, I'm gonna do better. Huge encouragement. So thank you so much. I really appreciate your help. And it definitely works. So when I finally graduated from the program and went out, I have been successful. I never thought that I would forget about this place. I will never forget this place. I think about Healing Transitions often, and it helps me when I'm out in the world. Sometimes there are people who try to get me to do things, and I think about Healing Transitions, and sometimes, just being honest, it's tough. So when you guys graduate, just keep in mind, it's not gonna be easy. You gotta stay focused. And go to AA meetings, NA meetings, very important. Whatever you do, going to those meetings is super important. That's what I've done. You know, read the book, big book, get a sponsor. And I wanted to thank everybody here, and I really appreciate it. I love you all. Thank you so much. And then also the men and women at Healing Transitions, thank you.
In case y'all don't see it, and it's in our big book, it say, we have found much of, and we have been rocketed into a fourth dimension, existence of which we have not even dreamed. See that? See that up here? That's what set Healing Transitions above all the rest in rock. We do things that other people just won't do. Good job. And I forgot to read it. Latter attended was here over 566 days and attended over 771 meetings. By the way, I want to invite everybody, alumni, silver chippers, anybody who is hearing me talk, to become a change maker. I want to invite you to. What change makers are people that give back to Healing Transitions monetarily. I guess that's the best way to put it. Y'all know I'm still a country boy. But you can donate, gentlemen, alumni, whatever you like. It's no certain amount. If you complete this program or not, we invite you to become a change maker, because the lights and all this stuff, it's not free. We tell you willingness, but if you really want to give back what was so freely given to you, I would advise you to become a change maker. It's nothing like it. And I can say it proudly because I am one. Yeah. So, moving on. The next gentleman we're going to be recognizing is a very cool cut athlete, I call him, Mr. Landy Tyler. Landy had a straight shot through the program, but he did receive some help along the way from his peers. I did not know this brother was doing all this, maybe because I wasn't in community a lot back then. He had poor job performance 8 times, inconsideration 2 times, forgot to turn in his meeting sheet, forgot detox, very bad, overstepping 2 times, misplaced of miracles, and missed the silver chip calls. Some of his suggestions was 1 page on double check, step up to do detox, 2-page synopsis on acceptance is the answer, work 1 day in enterprise, why am I different, and 500 words on false pride. Please help me welcome Silver Chip alumni number 927, Mr. Landy Tyler.
All right, I got 2 pages. I swear they're not back to back. I'll be quick, it's about 3 minutes. Had a lot going on in my head. When I get up here, if I didn't write anything down, I would not remember it. This place means the world to me. I'm so glad that my family could be here. My mother, my sister, and my good friend. I was a little worried with the way things were going that it was going to be more of a closed ceremony. I had to have him here. Thank you guys. I love y'all. Thank you for believing in me. This journey started a couple years ago when I called my mother. I was in tears, and I knew I couldn't continue to live this way. I seriously needed to get some help. By chance or divine intervention, as I see it, she happened to have spoken to some people a couple weeks before I reached out to her and told her, hey, there's this place called Healing Transitions. It's tough, it's long-term recovery, but those who make it through here and not having long sustained success in life, which has been my experience so far.
We love you, brother.
I arrived and I was immediately met by Night Guard, who those who know him, have the pleasure of knowing him, made me at ease right away. When I was put in detox, they put me next to a good friend of mine named Joe, who little did I know was going to be one of the strongest driving forces in helping me make it through this program. And I wish he could have been here, but I hope he's watching from home. I don't know, man, straight from the jump, all I can say is that God put people in my life right away that I did not know at the time were going to be who were going to help carry me through this. Because I tell you how many times I wanted to leave here. Started off 1 week, 2 weeks. I made it a month and I was like, all right, maybe I'll stay another month. It's not actually that bad. 6 months went by, a year went by. 16 months later, I finished the program. During my stay, there were a lot of things that helped me make it through. A lot of staff members, a lot of the programs that they have. Oak City Recovery Run Club was huge. Fathers in Recovery group, which I wish Miss Ann could be here. She's been my second mother or big sister, whatever you want to call it. I love her. That group probably changed the course of a lot of things in my life. Those who attend that meeting, keep going. It gets better. I really had no relationship with my son before I got to him, you know. Before I started going and just crying with the guys and laughing and telling each other it'll get better, eventually it did. So just stick with it. I'm not even reading anything on this paper. There are a few people I do want to mention. So in the staff, Chef Kathy, being kitchen supervisor was probably the scariest thing. But you're actually not as crazy as everybody thinks you are. You're actually a really nice lady. And you gave me a lot, especially I was going through some really tough times. And just the words were great. Mr. Dickens, Mr. Randy, Jason and Jason, Justin, Lauren, Mr. Budnick. Mr. Budnick, thank you. Thank you for texting me almost every other week, just asking me how I'm doing. It means the world to me. There are a few people that are not here that I just want to mention that are actually no longer with us. Tariq, Skylar, Sean, Stuart, Steve, and so many other lives that were lost too soon. May y'all rest in heaven. Congrats to all the past and future silver chippers. To the men in this room, I sat where you are now, not believing that I was gonna make it to this stage, and here I am. You can make it through this. Just learn to love yourself and your brothers. Just do this thing one day at a time. Thank you.
Man, y'all really lift up the spirits. Lift up the spirits. Said Chris used to text you all the time. I'm telling you, he don't like a lot of compliments, but that's something that you got even a boss here that you can go sit down and talk to like a friend. A lot of places don't have that, and it just comes down. Somebody was asking me the other day, how you dealing with the stuff going on with your wife? Know what I told another staff member? It's the staff around us. A lot of people said the participants make the place, and y'all do. But I'm telling you, like Chris said, it was some stressful times that we go through. And one more thing, can y'all help me just give a shout out to Chef Cat? Yes. We always hear all the time that dreaded kitchen. The dreaded kitchen, but in the end, look what happens. Thank you, Chef, for all you do for us and the participants. Peanut butter and jelly because it's well deserved, but I tell you one thing, that meatloaf today, great. So anyway, moving on. The next gentleman we're gonna be recognizing is my singing partner at the time. This gentleman really can't sing now, I'm gonna tell you that right now. That's Mr. Walter Brooks. He's a singing brother, he's an inspiration. Walter arrived at Healing Transitions, met one November the 20th, 2019. One of the things I kind of remember about Walter was we was doing classes at that time over to Love With. And that man, he just had so much desire to try to learn recovery dynamics. I mean, I could tell that he was serious about turning his life around. Like you always see it, guys, but it was something about this brother after every class, a lot of times he would come up and he would ask questions, ask questions, ask questions. And man, that meant a lot. I'll never forget that about Walter. Walter had a pretty straight shot through the program. I think he talked so loud and heavy like me, he just intimidated some guys, so nobody would, really address him too much. He had a couple of concerns for not following the guidelines in consideration, except for meditation in your reference. I don't know what that means. Verbal roster check with synopsis on each Enoch. One page on interrupting a meeting. I don't even want to ask you what that was because I know you probably can't explain it to me. And attend another meeting. So Walter was here over 369 days and attended over 507 12-step meetings. Please help me welcome Silver Chip alumni number 933, Mr. Walter Brooks.
Real quick, Bodacious, the bull. He's a killer, but he had 4 sons. One was Red Onion, Pull the Trigger, Fender Bender, and the last one was Bo Howdy. Translated in AA is terror, bewilderment, frustration, and despair. Translated into the cinema, that would be Jason Voorhees. That would be Michael Myers. That would be on and on until you end up with Species, because that's what the book tells me. I become a lively creature. And so all I can tell you guys is, don't worry about Raven. He just hollers. That's what he does. But he loves you. I used to think that this Jason something was wrong with it. Until COVID came. And every so often I'd get rattled because I couldn't go out to a meeting. And he would see it and say, come on in here. No, we ain't sitting there. We going to the boardroom. Same way it was with that Kathy. Kathy's a kitten. Only somebody that was afraid of Kathy was Powell. Anything about Chef Kathy was what I learned from her was the word no. She said no was a complete sentence. And so that sticks with me today. No just means no. And I can tell you guys, all I can tell you is that in that step 1, if you don't have a 12 and 12, you need to get one. Because at the bottom of it, it says, driven to AA. There we discovered our fatal nature of our situation. And then it goes, then, comma, will we become open-minded to conviction, willing to listen as the dying can be. we stand ready to do anything. That has to go into your bosom. I'm talking about in here. If you got reservations and if you got lurking notions, then you might need to go on back out the door and see if you can make it back, because we are dying. But this place saved my life. I was already step 1, 2, and 3 when I got here. I was glad to be on the floor. I was glad to do whatever they told me because I was done in the middle. There are bankruptcies, literal bankruptcies. Chapter 13, you still got something left over. Chapter 11, you still got something left over. Chapter 7, you still got something left over. But when it gets to liquidation of all assets, ain't nothing left. And so when you guys get to that point of utter defeat, because that word is before defeat, it says utter. Then there's another word that says complete. When you get there, it says there is one who has all power. That is a pronoun signifying a noun. That one is God. There are many gods, but that one is the one who has all power.
Y'all some bad guys, man. Y'all some bad dudes. I'll tell you, boy. How many peer mentors we got sitting over there? 4, no, 3. Well, you stayed up there with us so long, man. It felt like you was a peer mentor. You was in there anytime you wanted. Woo! I'll tell you now. The next guy we're going to be, the next new alumni we're going to be recognizing is Mr. Powell. This brother here also leaves a lasting impression. All of them do. But one thing I would say about this guy, he never gave up. He never gave up. Through all his struggles, and he struggled, he never left. Whatever bruises and bumps he had to take, he went through it. Him and the gentleman over there one time couldn't even hardly get along. Now look at him sitting over there. I ain't gonna tell you the story. I'm gonna just leave it right there. But I remember them brothers, they couldn't sit that close, but look at them now. See, that's what I'm talking about, how this program make you start loving each other. If you work them steps like that man right there was just talking about, I tell you, you can't do nothing but love. You might get mad with me and all that, but if you stay around here, you're gonna say, that old loudmouth country boy, he just wanted the best for me. That's all I want. Glenn, I can say I was looking to see your son. Just want you to know that because I heard you talk about it so much. Just want you to know that. All right. Mr. Kevin Powell was in detox 5 times, REC 1 time, met 1 3 times, met 2 3 times, CTR 1 2 times, and CTR 2 1 time. Perseverance, never gave up. Some of his concerns was breaking the guidelines, phone law, had his feet on our furniture. So you're not the only one that got talked to about feet on the furniture because your feet belong on the floor. Just so y'all know, it ain't nothing we started. He got him accountable. Just want y'all to know that because sometimes we come into class and we say, you can't do so and so, and you think we picking at you. No, somebody else already done everything around here. Rachel got a saying, I said, whatever you want to do around here, you can document it. Somebody else already done it. Some of his suggestion was 500 words on people pleasing. I know, Amanda, I shouldn't even be reading out this 500 words stuff. Because I'm going to tell y'all over there at the women's facility, they probably laugh because they don't even think about 500 words. Ain't no such thing over there. 5,000, 2,500. 500 words on people pleasing, verbal roster check, chair Sunday solutions, facilitate a class on each Enoch, self-will, ego, people pleasing, and step up for the TV lounge chore. While here, Kevin attended over 525 meetings and was here over 450 days. Please help me welcome Silver Chip alumni number 935, Mr. Kevin Powell.
Wow. Woo. I have to go after Walter, so it's gonna be kind of tough. Yeah, thank you, Mr. Dickens. That was one thing I was gonna talk about when I got up here, was just don't give up. You know, that's what people told me. I remember sitting right over there, watching the ceremony here, crying my eyes out, because I just didn't know how to live life. You know, I was broken, beat down, miserable. You know, I didn't know how to get to the next day. And for me, you know, I had my struggles, and I remember, I think what saved me was I was stuck here on property restriction for 30 days, and I think it turned into like 53 days straight in the kitchen. Weekends, every morning in the kitchen with Chef, and I wrote a lot of words, but I just didn't give up. Like I had a hat, and I just wrote like every day a little check mark for what day I was in there. I think, and I was on the same bed in the shelter. I was lucky to get a bed because they felt bad for me, I think, because I was on the floor for so long. And I just didn't give up. And I cried with her in there. I laughed with her in there. I got yelled at in there. I stole things in there, and you know, but I just didn't give up. I did. I'll admit it. You know, I can be honest today. And I may not have gotten a lot of words there, but I did get a lot of words from Chef. A lot. I remember Mr. Dickinson, came to community once and put on the board immediate job change banned from the kitchen. And I still got back in there as a cook again after that. So. But that place saved my life. It was guys around me. I remember crying, and guys would just lift me up. When I couldn't get through it, I had friends around here. I lost friends here, and that's what kept me driving, you know, driving to keep doing better. I didn't give up. And I continue to urge all of you guys not to give up. So I'd like to say hi to my mom watching, my family in New York, and love you all. Thank you.
Met one, met two, see y'all one. I hope one thing y'all heard these guys keep talking about: when they struggle, they laughed together, they cried together. They might have had some rough times, but they held on to each other. And that's what's got them through here. I try to tell y'all to reach out and do that. Don't be talking all that old crazy mess all the time. Find you somebody when you having them tough days that we go through here. Because this is a tough program, I'm gonna tell you now. All right, the last new Silver Chip alumni we're gonna be recognizing is Mr. Jacob Barrett. He's another guy that was in the planning room, but these guys, they so clean cut sometimes, you don't know all the stuff they're doing around here. Get up here and read some of this stuff. He was in Met 1 2 times, Met 2 2 times, CTR 1 2 times, and CTR 2 1 time. Had concerns for not following the guidelines multiple times, poor job performance, sloth, and dishonesty. Some of the suggestions he received from his behavior was writings on self-centered, fear, and entitlement. I hope he done got past that fear, because he probably don't even want to come up here now. Facilitate a class on each Enoch, do a class on people pleasing, self-centeredness, and down by 10 and up by 6, and teach a 3 p.m. class on honesty. Please help me welcome Silver Chip alumni number 5940. Mr. Jacob Barrett.
A lot of people in here tonight. Yeah, my name's Jacob. I'm an alcoholic. When I got here, I was broken. I was a shell of a person. I walked through the doors, walked into the shelter, my suitcase, and I was like, what did I get myself into? That was my first thought. One of the alumni tonight, KP, was actually the first person to greet me when I walked through the door, you know, besides Mr. Rayford. And he made me feel at home. And that's what I found when I was here. For a long time throughout my active addiction, I didn't feel a part of. I felt like I was different than Being here at Healing Transitions, I became a part of. And that's the goal today, for me to feel a part of. Being an active member of Alcoholics Anonymous makes me feel a part of. Mr. Dinkins, you mentioned something about self-centered fear, and that was a big factor in my life for a long time. I didn't want to do anything out of fear. And as an alcoholic, I can minimize my actions, minimize the impact that I have on other people in my life. And this place put that into perspective. I was able to see what my impact was on my family, on the other people in this program, and really anybody that I came in contact with when I was actively using. I spent 14 months here, and it was the best 14 months I've experienced in the last 15 years. I want to say I'm grateful for my peers that were in the program with me. They pushed me through. There were times when I wanted to leave, but I didn't act on that thought. I want to give a special shout out to Jason Sutton specifically. He believed in me. He guided me into becoming a peer mentor in the planning room, and that really motivated me because I got a lot out of that planning room. I learned how to stand up in front of 100+ people and talk, and not be afraid of it. This place changed my life, point blank. And I'm grateful for every day that I spent here and every staff member that believed in me, especially you, Chef Kathy. Thank you, guys.
Hey, everybody. My name is Jason Sexton. I'm the transition case manager here at Men's. Also, Silvership Alumni 544. What I'm going to do tonight, well, first of all, what I do is I work with those individuals that have completed the educational portion of the program and are now either doing a commitment to give back, or they're working and saving money to transition out. So what we're going to do is we're going to recognize those individuals that have completed the educational portion and are now in CTR 2. I'm going to give them a few things. One thing I'm going to do is I'm going to give them a copy of their detox picture. I'm also going to give them one of our logo hats, and then we have a tradition here. The thought behind it is that while we're out there ripping and running, we use up a lot of our marbles, so they're going to get one of their marbles back. All right? So guys, when you come up, just grab a hat and a marble out of the table, and I'll give you your detox picture, okay? First up, Travis Hill. David Batts. Danny Avery. Stephen Hankins. Christopher Jones.
All right, Chris.
And Freddie Wall.
Thank you. Thank each and one of you for hanging in during tough times and supporting staff, supporting one another. Grateful for you, grateful for all who are here tonight, grateful for those who are joining us virtually. It's encouraging, the ceremony. I appreciate the staff working out a way for family and guests to be here. One more step towards getting back to where we were before the pandemic. Look forward to the time when we're having a meal and people all have masks off and hugging each other. So thanks, everybody. Have a wonderful night.